Now recording.
Hey guys, it's Patty Buchholz from Northern California with the Heat Team call on Tuesday, the March 24th. And we were all supposed to be at conference, but this is super exciting that we get to do this connection over Zoom and still just love on each other. So I have never been more excited. My business is exploding. More connections that I think I've ever had, probably within 2 weeks, is more like a month or two time. And lots of customers, 9 customers, 2 Tower Garden orders, 1 coming in tomorrow, which was a referral from one of the Tower Garden orders. And you guys got to remember, I have 2.5 feet of snow in my yard. So
Patty, how big is your town?
My town is less than 800 people.
Less than 800 people, and you had 50 conversations about all kinds of things, not just customer follow-up. What were those conversations that you've had?
Just checking in with people, tell them I was thinking of them, and I know you might have had an interest at one time in whatever, the Juice Plus or the Tower Garden, and don't know if you want to have that conversation. I've had calls. I've actually been checking with customers just to say hi. I want to make sure you're doing good with all this going on. And one gal's just on a duo, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I want to get a complete order going." So people want what we have.
So just loving on people, just seeing how they're doing, asking them what's going on. But it sounds to me like even after you've had that initial conversation, you're offering them, do they need something more? How are you transitioning? Just going right for it? What's your segue? Is it just simply direct?
Well, it's funny because I did let Nikki know this because she was asking, if I could share what I'm doing. And I said, really I'm on a mission to take care of myself more. And so I've been walking, even if it's snowing, but I've been kind of on my prayer walk. And so I'm walking the neighborhood, just praying for people that are coming to my mind, praying for people that houses I see. And I passed this house that a gal that owns our little garden center here in Gray Eagle, I actually asked her last year if it'd be okay if I put a tower up just to see what kind of interest we got. I asked her about the business, not interested at all. Well, I happened to walk by her house, and so I, put her name in my brain, and I got home, and I texted her, and I said, I don't know if anything's changed, if you'd like to have, an additional income, a conversation again, and she said, absolutely, and I signed her up as a distributor yesterday. We had a wonderful welcome call with Nikki today. It was just because I was, I feel like what I can do is I can pray for people. And so just praying and asking God to bring people into my life that need to be there. And it's been incredible.
And I know that some of it is just people responding very quickly and easily to you, but some of the ones you've had to call and kind of say a few words to bring this up and move them from just hello, how are you, to are you open to? What was your segue from how are you doing, what's going on in your family, loving on them a little bit, and then were you just very direct, I'm calling you because, or what do you feel you did?
There's not one thing I can share, but because they're all different conversations, but I would just say, I know we all have a need right now. We all need to be boosting our immune system and getting more fruits and vegetables. Would you be open to taking a look at what I do? If I would you, same thing that we teach every Monday.
Same thing as we teach all the time, love on people, and then if I would you, right? Same thing.
Yes. So I have to share this. It came through this friend of mine that I grew up with that I shined on with Juice Plus years and years ago. And she was definitely, no, I'm not interested. And I'm like, okay, but I try to stay in touch with her a little bit on Facebook. I got this message this morning, have not communicated with her for years. Greetings, sweet lady, Patty. I prayed in bed last night with one hand on my heart and the other on my solar plexus until I was calm enough to get sleep, feeling rested, and wanted to use my energy for good today, and thought of you and your know of the Plant Tower and Juice Plus. Are you a distributor of both items? Bet you are overloaded with orders. If so, suggestions for what I order. I love you, Patty, and I'm thankful for our childhood in Tahoe and living at freedom, horses, and friendship. And then she goes on and on, but that was just out of the blue.
So she's asking you, what should I order? So
Yeah.
people are already either in the yes, they're ready to go, so why not talk to people? And the one or two people that may be, oh, they're somehow offended because is it possible it could happen? I haven't had it. Have you had anybody be offended, Patty?
No, I've had somebody said, no, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing with doTERRA or whatever. And I'm saying, that's totally cool. Just let me know.
That's not saying that you've tried to take advantage of a situation. So people are in the yes or they're not. And so you're offering because this is the time to do it. Anyway,
And I want to share one other thing is signing up this gal the other day with the nursery. She gave me an absolute no last summer, that she was not interested in the business. She might someday be interested in the tower. The other one, Nikki did a connection with me, and this guy, I looked in my dates, 2018. I met him at a farmer's market down in the San Jose area. He had a microgreens booth, and I was like, oh, just start a conversation. We do that. I do the little bit of that, and I told him a little bit of the towers. If I would you, and he's like, yeah, sure. And then eventually, you know, I got him on the call with Chris, and he was like, nope, not interested. You know, it was really clear. But I revisited those no's, and that's what I want to encourage you guys do. We did an amazing connection into exploration call with Nikki the other day, probably one of the best I've ever done. And I have another connection with him on Friday. Finances are really tight for him, and that'd be the only reason he would not jump in right now. But all I'm saying is, you know, people said no, you know, 5 months ago. Revisit it. Things are different now.
Yeah. And so have you been good, Patty, about keeping a list as your memory jogger? How are you going back to find these people? Somebody might say, well, I know I've talked to people 2 years ago. What was your method of keeping track of people and stuff? What have you done?
Well, first of all, I always want to say, you know, I think Teamsy is the best tool that we have. But to be honest with you, you know, again, I'm praying and just asking, you know, for those names. And so I'm just writing things down. I jumped on Carrie and Clyde's Tower Garden event, the live one the other day, and I did a watch party, and people were jumping on. So I'm writing down names of people that I had not, you know, and so I can't even keep track of adding them to my Teamsy because I think it's more important to touch up. But I am writing things down. But I think Teamsy is the key.
Okay, that's fantastic. Anybody have a question that they want to ask Patty? Okay, let me ask one more question. Is there anybody that feels a little bit paralyzed still about talking to people? They're a little bit still uncomfortable, specifically in this time period. Maybe you were a little bit uncomfortable before, now it's gotten worse, and you haven't really worked that out of your comfort zone, but maybe some of you have been comfortable and now you're kind of not for some reason. Is there anybody that feels a little bit like that?
I'm gonna.
Oh, Carrie,
yeah, I'd say a little bit.
Yeah. Julie, you just started to say something. You want to say something?
Hey,
yeah, I would say I actually feel a little bit of the opposite. Just all of the verbiage that's going on Voxer and all of the online meetings that we're doing with everybody, feeling more empowered actually to come from just a place of authenticity of just, this is what I'm choosing to do for myself and what I've encouraged my family members to do. And I just really want to share with you. And if you want to, great. And if you don't, that's okay. I get where you're at, but this is what I'm doing. And I have this to offer.
You said something that was really important to me that I wanted to talk about with everybody. And that is right now, especially, and I'm so glad that you said it, Julie. She said that what's helping her is listening to the other people, what they're up to, the Voxer things. I'm assuming maybe Facebook, some of the lives that we've done. If you're not doing that, I'm going to really encourage you to go back and look at some of the Voxers, especially if you're in some of smaller groups. There's been great verbiage, there's been great sharing, there's been great wins. But also Chris and I have done a couple live on Facebook that a lot of you have been on, and hopefully that has helped you if you haven't listened to those. This is a time more than ever that you might want to stay very connected to the message that's going out, very connected to your team, very connected to what we are telling each other, because in this connection, you're going to find more hope. You're going to find more ways to talk to people, and you're going to be encouraged in a way that you never have before. And you are off speaker view on my end, Patty.
Okay.
So it looks like gallery view. I don't know if it changes when I change my screen, if it changes for all of you,
Mine
but
wasn't.
what gets recorded
Is it now? Is it changed?
I see Patty, but not
That's
you
so funny.
guys.
So what's on my screen is gallery view right now,
Try to
just
put
so you
Matt's
know.
gallery on speaker view and then take us off.
All right, here we go. Now Chris and I are on speaker view, gallery, or whatever. It's
Yeah,
actually
thank you.
Spotlight. So, but what was recorded, Patty, just so you know, is not you. It was the group, because whatever I see is what gets recorded. So I want to go back to gallery view and just see any other questions or comments. Raise your hand.
I want to say one more thing.
Yes.
You know, living where I do, I literally have to drive an hour and a half to 2-3 hours to go to meetings. Now everything is Zoom. And really, I mean, I'm excited because I get to do a business meeting tomorrow that I usually leave the house for at 6:30. I get to do a Zoom at 8. So perfect. But what I'm saying is, you guys, there is so much out there right now. The lives, if you can, for some reason, I couldn't do a watch party today, but there is so much opportunity just to get out there. So we have no excuses.
Great. I know, Carrie, you're wanting to share something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's breaking up pretty bad on my end, so I'm hoping this comes through clearly, but Facebook Lives and watch parties have been going through the roof. Like, I've had more connections through Facebook Lives and watch parties than I've had in a long time. I have a new frontline team member and a team partner also, and our orders are increasing. And just today on Dr. Sears, I did a watch party. I have 17 new contacts that I'm going to be connecting with tomorrow. So it's an incredible way. This is the time people want to feel connected.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. I'm going to see if I can do justice to Noelle's question about what's a watch party. You'll notice whenever anybody does a live, go back and look at anybody's live video. Right underneath it, it says, do you want to have a watch party? Right underneath it. When you click the words watch party, that live video that you're watching on somebody else's Facebook page immediately goes to your personal timeline, immediately. And anything on your personal timeline that you're posting is going to go out to all your friends. So you post a watch party. Now what's really cool is when you click on watch party, you can then see if somebody else is clicking on the watch party that you watch partied. And so what Patty is saying is she hit watch party, and then she could see after that other people were taking her watch party and sharing it on their personal timelines. So it went from Carrie to Patty to about 4 or 5 people, friends of Patty, and who knows who those people shared and clicked on the words watch party.
They were co-hosting my party. They
What's
were
that?
co-hosting me watching Carrie.
Yeah, it's just, that's how it works. So you just click on the words watch party and it automatically uploads to your personal timeline, which
Denise
of course,
has something to say.
yeah,
A
Denise.
question about that. Okay, so I tried to get the watch party to work today and I couldn't. I ended up just sharing the video to my page. Does that do the same thing?
It doesn't do the same thing because the watch party, what happens when somebody, well, somebody could, if your page is public and somebody liked what you did, they could reshare it. But the watch party immediately goes to your page and immediately goes to your newsfeed and sends that out much more in depth. But Heidi, were you going to say something different about that?
No, I was just going to say it depends on the person who's actually got the live going on at the time on their notifications on whether or not you can share it as a watch party. But I'm actually just going to go to Denise's timeline and I don't see the video there that you should.
So Heidi, the odd thing was that I went on to the same live that Alita and Carrie did, so did Denise, and they were able to do a watch party, but Denise and I were not.
I accidentally muted you, Heidi. I didn't mean to, so if you had more to say.
That's okay. I don't have an answer for that, Patty. Yeah.
So-
I also,
Oh yeah, Mr. Technology, what are you going to say about watch parties tonight?
I couldn't
honey?
find where it said watch party, but I did share it over to, hello there, Skipper, to Take Healthy Back. And so I don't know if that means it'll stay over there.
Yeah, it'll stay there. And what happens is sometimes the picture that, like the picture of the little,
Not taking it back.
oh, I don't know what you meant then.
Turn up the heat.
Oh, turn up the heat. So sometimes what'll happen is I noticed that on one watch party that I shared, Heidi did something and I liked it and I hit watch party and it went to mine. And then after a while, the picture of the YouTube disappeared and I thought it deleted itself, but in the top hand corner it said replay. And when I hit it, the whole thing came back up again. So here's the thing, just like everything we do on the computer, play with it. See what happens. Don't be afraid. Know that if it's working and you hit watch party, it will upload to your personal timeline if it's working. If it isn't working, then it's not going anywhere, so no problem.
So
you can go to, sorry, you can go to Carrie's page right now, which I just did, and you can, and I'm able to share her watch party. So I see that. And so if anybody's needing that, thank you for the
And
help.
also what I understood is sometimes when you're doing a live, the watch party button doesn't come up right away. It like you have to the what you did live takes a while to like know it's there, and then the watch party button pops up. I've heard that also. Okay, so I think we've got enough on watch party.
Right.
Anything else that anybody wants to comment on or needs help with? Yeah, Leslie.
One thing, not that I need help, but when you asked about how you find some of these people, one thing I do, and Patty taught me this, is when I enter people into like my email contacts in Gmail, I put a tag on them, and I tag them as either Tower Garden prospects, Juice Plus prospects, business prospects. And I, like with Tower Garden, at least quarterly, I send out like a little thing about Tower Garden, either, hey, I'm having a special, 20 free plants if you order, or a new video on it. And the Tower Garden, I had an order fall out of the sky this week. So I've had 37 conversations in the last week.
Good job.
I have 6 new customers, and one was a Tower Garden customer. I didn't recognize her name at all. And I'd asked, well, how did you hear of me? And she said, oh, I'm on your mail list. I get your stuff on the Tower Garden. And when she told me where she knew, it's like I added her on there probably 4 to 5 years ago. She was a friend of a partner I had probably my first year in this business. And so for 4 or 5 years, she's been watching, and then she reached out and she bought a tower with extension and dolly and extra pump and minerals and, the whole shebang.
So keeping good track, doing good customer care is paying off twofold. And I want everybody really to remember this point. Twofold, when I say one, is it's paying off. It's creating cash in your pocket. Twofold, it's creating transformation in people's lives by you taking care of those customers. The more people that get on, that have a Tower Garden, a lot of people I think right now are wanting Tower Gardens because they don't know when the next pandemic, whatever that looks like, people want to be more self-sufficient now than ever. They want to know that they have what they need. And it's almost like people stocking up when they go to the grocery store on cans of whatever. This is a way for them to stock up. This is making them feel safe and comfortable, and we have that to offer. I heard a message which I passed on to our broadcast boxer from Alexis Busselman today that talks a lot about customer care, what it's doing on her team, and the conversations that are happening, again, and her business. It's everything that we're saying right here. I want to congratulate. I want to just really stop and congratulate every single one of you for taking the time, number one, to be on this call, for taking the time to have the conversations because you care. I think that we have so much to give and so much to offer. And I'm going to tell you that one of the things that turned around the person that we spoke to with Patty, the microgreen grower, was he was feeling, you could feel he was feeling a little bit distant, like maybe we were asking him to do something he wasn't ready to do or pressured him. And I said to him, Ivan, this call is not necessarily, I said, I don't know where this call is going to go. I really don't, but I want to share an example of why we are having this conversation with you, because I don't know how we can be of service to you, because it could be in a way that Patty nor I know. And I told him the old story of our next door neighbor, Mark, from 26 years ago, when I sat down and I told him everything I knew about Juice Plus. He loved all of the information. And he said, if fruits and vegetables are that important, I am going to put in my own garden. He spent days rototilling his backyard. He built raised beds, and he put in the most beautiful garden you can imagine. And did I walk away and say, doggone it, I didn't get a customer? I walked away and said, I think we changed his life. I think we changed the future of his children. They are going to eat better forever for this conversation. And it ended up being, in the conversation we had with Ivan, I was able to give him a lot of great ideas for his microgreen business, home delivery. And we did that first before we went into what we had to offer. And by the time we'd finished, the fact that I'd really helped him and that Patty had brought this conversation to him, he was so open to hear what else we had to offer him. So be in service and see where the conversation goes as well.
So this is a connection call, and connection is so important right now. You know, I've heard some great stories. I don't know, Mariah, if you can come on and tell me that story about the guy you saw on his porch today, but that was impressive. Pete, things are slowing down, right? Mandatory slowdown. So people are not in the technological rush that they've been in for the last how many years. So it's created an openness, and also creating a more of a openness to connect with people. So that's why I'm using the phone a lot. I'm calling people personally instead of texting. And you know, there's a shift going on. So I think it's really exciting, and you know, there's going to be a lot of people hurt, and let's face it, you know, there's you know, some of you guys are on some financial challenges because of lack of checks right now. So we know that's true. We need to be sensitive to that, but there's a great desire for connection.
Well, Denise says people are actually answering their phones.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter today said she called 3 old friends today on FaceTime, and they all picked up. They all did FaceTime. They all had a great time together. She said, I haven't connected in months with some of these people, but we are craving, you know, Brene Brown says that human beings are hardwired for connection. Hardwired for connection. We want to connect with one another. So just keep that in mind. Who's waiting to hear from you today? Who needs to get away from their kids for 5 minutes and be in another room? You know, who needs to just take a little break from their husband for a few minutes so that you don't kill each other? All of that kind of stuff. So just some things to remember there. And I don't want to forget this, because I have an idea, and for those of you that want to participate, I would love for you to, on Turn Up the Heat, make a comment about this, because I have an idea about how we can connect even fuller with the community, but I need volunteers and I need help. So I want to not forget that. Heidi.
I just want to share, I've had some pretty good wins this month also. I have 7 new orders, new preferred customer orders. 2 of them were Tower Garden Flex orders, where people just went to my website, and I don't know who they are, but I had an amazing connection with one of the ladies yesterday. Got to know all of the things that she's excited to plant on the Tower Garden, and it sounded like she hadn't talked to anyone in a really long time. And also I have an existing lead from the company who ordered Juice Plus for his wife. I had a colleague at the salon who ordered through my website. All of these things that you would think sometimes, like sharing your website, you don't really want to do because most people don't order. Well, she did, and we turned that into a family health study. And then I had a lead just today from the company, and it's a doctor who specializes in autism. So I'm really excited to connect with her and just see where we can, you know, how many people that she could possibly help, you know. But it's, you know, like Nikki was saying, it's the connection. It's been really fun just talking to people without an agenda, just doing your customer care like you would regularly with Juice Plus, you know, for Juice Plus, but also reaching out to friends and prospects that I don't know if anyone that's seasoned that used to use Trello.
Oh yeah.
Anyone remember Trello? So, when I moved, I'm not gonna lie, I got rid of a ton of like stacks of notebooks like this that I know I'm kicking myself now, because I know that a lot of those notebooks have my memory jogger in them, right? But I know a lot of them are on Trello, and so I've been going back to Trello. Thankfully, it still exists, so I can go in and log in, and all of my stuff, you guys, is still there. So I'm following up with, like Patty, with people from years ago, and even if they're not ready, it's okay just to check in and see how they're doing and really just care. People want to know right now that you care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Thanks, Heidi.
good.
Anything else there? And I just noticed people are doing random acts of kindness. That's not it. Random acts of kindness. Julie, how great that your landlord has offered to reduce rent by 1/2 for the next 2 months. So people are totally understanding us. And, you know, who knows, Julie, maybe he's going to be your next, or she's going to be your next person that you're going to get healthy as a way to show your gratitude for what she or he has offered you, right? Okay, anything else? Okay, yeah, why are you giggling, Julie? You're gonna have something good going on over there. Is Jade performing for you?
She's performing all day, every day. But no, it's exciting to that I reached out to my landlord and just asked if there was anything we could come into agreement with. And he asked his father, and they own a bunch of rental properties. And he said, yeah, my father's okay with reducing it by 1/2 for the next 2 months. But you're right. That's a great way that I can send a thank you, like really have a conversation with him about Juice Plus, and maybe even just throw him some chewables for his kids, you know,
Yeah.
just send him a month, you know, a bag.
Just a little bit. Yeah, that would be really great. So it's just, people are out there wanting to make a difference and connect. And I, you know, keep thinking that this is going to be the miracle that brings us together and hopefully keeps us together. If that's what we're focusing on, particularly this group focuses on that. So my idea, it's not my idea, I've seen some other teams do it, but we really need the group participation to do it. I would love to do a weekly call for the next, say, 6 weeks, because we don't know what needs are going to be met after that, but a weekly call that's a fun, sort of like a coffee clutch or a coffee time, and what I'm really debating on is the time. So I'm going to put out on Turn Up the Heat, here's 3 possible times. For example, Mondays from 10 to 12 or Wednesday afternoons from 4 to 6, and we'll pick a time. But what I imagine happening for the next 6 weeks is on each call, somebody who has some skill shares their skill with us so that we can all take advantage of it. So like if there's anybody here that knows how to salsa dance, we could all be salsa dancing together. Now, of course, you want to bring your own margaritas, you want to bring your own whatever. It's good. Well, if it's in the morning, you probably want to bring your coffee, maybe laced with Kahlua. I don't know. But depending on the time that we do it, I can imagine having just fun, and that you invite friends onto this call, that they can see a group that's connected, that's doing something to keep attitudes up. I've talked to 3 people this week that ended up in tears on the call. I saw somebody post on Facebook that they're single, they're alone, and they're just starting to feel depressed. And so we have something to maybe offer. So maybe like, again, a salsa class. Leanne Schweitzer said she would teach a yoga class for us one time. Maybe Heidi, yeah, I know, I see Lila and she's little pebbles. Hi there. You know, maybe Heidi can tell everybody for 3 weeks from a certain date, go out and buy these 3 color paints in a small canvas, and I'm going to show you what to do with them, making it really simple. Somebody else has, maybe somebody knows Pilates who has a friend that teaches Pilates. Michelle Ogluski, maybe you can teach us a little singing lesson. Like, how could we sound better than we currently sound? You're a music teacher. So we have all kinds of ideas maybe that we could do that would be really fun. Maybe one week we assign everybody to listen to a podcast, and we come together and we talk about the podcast that we just heard. Maybe one week it's called Book Club, where you come with your favorite book and you just tell why you loved it. So, because I know people are looking for things to read. I know right now people are looking for things to read and things to do that are elevating them. How many people would want to have a call like that, would participate in a call that, and invite others to come to that call? So if you feel like that, make sure to check Turn Up the Heat tonight. I'm going to give 3 possible times that we could do it. It'll just be for the next 4 to 6 weeks, because we don't know if we're going back to work or what our schedules are like. But I would love to have whoever wants to be on. And Noelle, maybe you could teach us how to do an at-home facial mask. I don't know, something. So you're our resident esthetician, right? So we could really have some fun Oh, and I said, Leslie, you could give us a horticultural class. You know, what are we doing to prepare for spring? Of course, it depends on where we live. But do you guys get the idea that we could really have fun for 6 weeks, 6 totally different topics, invite friends, family, say this is what we're doing to keep connected as a group and to offer and elevate where we are? Because here's the final thing. Who will you be in the end of the next 6 or 8 weeks or 12 weeks as a result of what's going on? Who will you be? What areas will you find ways to change your lives and improve in some area? Do something that you maybe haven't done before. Chris, I think you have probably something to add to that.
Well, yeah, I do. I'm curious, anybody here listened to my call last night on the Carrie Daigle Keep Punching channel? Nobody? All right. Well, then you have a good call that Nikki just posted on her.
It's not a Zoom, it is a phone call. I just posted it, so don't go to Zoom. It's a listen on your phone. You can put it on speakerphone, walk around, listen to it while you're in your car. It was really a great call.
So I highly recommend you listen to it. I mean, a lot of you, most of you have heard everything I said, right? Because you're on this team. But it is about, you know, Darren Hardy put a announcement out early in the week. Are you going to just go through this unprecedented times, or are you going to grow through this unprecedented times? So I'm proud to announce on the grow side of things, I'm doing yoga 3 times a week right now after 15 years of saying I was going to do it. And I quit drinking coffee. So
I'm so happy about that because now he is making decaf in the morning, so you haven't actually quit coffee.
Oh yeah, quit drinking caffeinated
but
coffee.
no caffeine, and so that means I can actually have a cup of his good coffee now. I'm so excited.
But anyway, the whole idea is to grow through this period. So listen to that call. I think you'll pick up some good pointers.
And I see some other things on here, you know, a gratitude power hour that Heidi's planning on doing, but we could include that in our series. I was going to say knitting, Kirsten, but I didn't know we had any knitters, and I didn't know if anybody would laugh at me.
I'm laughing at you.
So it's just so funny that Kirsten posted, I knit. I think we could get all knitting needles and she could show us purl 1, knit 2, purl 3, knit 4. Whatever I used
There
to.
she is.
I know, I've done that at some point in my life. We could all knit a hat together on an hour. Wouldn't that be exciting? So any other ideas, any comments that you'd like to talk about tonight?
Well, it's all family. So let's keep the family connected. And, you know, we encourage you to go out and make a difference. And if you need some help with anything, come to family, right? We're here to help. We're here to support you all.
So just remember, what's the line? Go or grow?
Yeah, you're going to go through it or you're going to grow through it.
You're going to go through these next few months or weeks or whatever it is, or you're going to grow through it. I'm learning how to tap. So I got the book on tapping and I'm doing all the tapping stuff. I don't really have it down yet, clearly. If I get good enough, I'll teach.
All right.
All right, everybody. We love you dearly. Unmute yourselves and
Love you.
just
Love
stay
you
connected.
guys.
Oh, before we get off, did all of you see the newsletter from Janet Brown that she sent out that we are going to be streaming for free? Conference is going to be absolutely free for everyone. If you did get a ticket to Phoenix, you can apply it to Indianapolis. But you can invite anybody you want to the streaming to your house. It can be a distributor or not a distributor, so somebody can come in and watch our conference and see what we're up to for absolutely free.
They can stream it themselves. They can stream it at their own house.
Right, but you can have a stream party. Put streamers up.
Okay.
All right.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Love you.